Wendy Williams was never the same after she ate that crow, and I'm gonna explain why. So if you don't know, in prime Wendy Williams days, Wendy made a bet. Basically, she was like, Kim and Kanye, they're gonna get a divorce. And if they last more than X amount of days, she would eat her words and she would eat crow. Eating crow is like a thing that people say when you talk beforehand and mess through. You kind of like eat your words. But Kim and Kanye, they lasted, so she actually had to eat the crow. And I've always said when she ate that crow on live TV, it just wasn't the same with her. Now you may be wondering, well, what's so bad about eating crow? Well, eating crow is considered a bad omen in many places. Back in the day, eating crow was literally seen as a humiliation tactic, hence why it's used as an idiom to this day. Not only can eating crow be toxic for you physically, but it can also be taxing on you mentally and spiritually. Also, if you keep it with your Bible in Leviticus, crow is being deemed as unfit to eat. Now let's take it a little deeper. When you think of a crow, what does it symbolize? Well, it's stated it symbolizes death, danger, misfortune, and illness. But it can also mean rebirth, self-reflection, and intelligence. And when you think about it, Wendy has experienced all of that.
I've been seeing rumors that she is cursed. It took me down a rabbit hole of cursed celebrities and seeing that there's actually people in the industry who are doing hexes and all types of stuff. So let's just get into the video. Now, it's also people on TikTok who are saying that they saw a change in her eyes when she ate the crow.
Possibly cursed after eating a black crow on live TV.
Cursed after eating a black crow on live TV.
Do you see the eyes change from brown to black? Her entire life went downhill afterwards.
They say her eyes changed right there. 3, 4, 3, 4. So in 2014, she ate the crow.
Post Malone thought he was cursed after coming in contact with the world's most haunted object. And no, it's not his tattoo artist. While on the show Ghost Adventures, Zach Baggins walked Posty through his museum located in Las Vegas. He showed Posty some of his most haunted objects, including the Dybbuk box. Zach touched the object and Posty was holding onto his arm. And for those of you that don't know, the Dybbuk box was the inspiration behind the movie The Possession and suspected to be the home of a malevolent spirit. 2 months after filming that episode with Zach, on August 21st, Posty was flying on his plane when 2 of the wheels somehow exploded just after takeoff. The pilots luckily made an emergency landing and everything was okay. A couple weeks later, at midnight, 3 armed robbers invaded Post Malone's home. Well, it was Post Malone's home. He didn't live there anymore. On October 7th, a little more than a month later, Post Malone was involved in a car crash. His car flew through a fence after he was hit by another vehicle. Both cars were badly damaged, but luckily everyone came out uninjured. So is it a coincidence that this string of bad luck happened just after being in contact with the world's most haunted object? Maybe.
Now this is him saying the situation from his own mouth.
I'm friends with Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures. So we took the glass case off of the Dybbuk box, which is in his museum in Vegas. And he thought it was a sick-ass idea to put the ashes of a lady who died while she was possessed on top. My plane almost crashed. I was in a car accident. My house got robbed, and I had bite marks on my arm.
First off, why is you gonna put dead ashes on top of a Dybbuk box? Like, that don't make no sense. And then you just gonna think everything's gonna be okay afterwards? I know I be messing with ghosts and stuff, but I ain't gonna be sprinkling no dead ashes on nothing. You better stop playing with these Ouija boards and these spirits, because they will come after you.
It's the Lee family curse. So Bruce Lee's father had been cursed. Bruce Lee actually had an older brother who died before he was born, and his parents were so worried when Bruce was born that they called him Little Phoenix, which was the girl's name. This was an attempt to confuse any evil spirits that were looking to steal his soul. Bruce predicted many times, said he wouldn't live to be half the age of his father when he died. His dad died at 64 and Bruce Lee died at 32. Brandon Lee really believed in the family curse too, and he said he would die younger than his dad, which he did. He was 28 when he died.
Now I want to get a little more confirmation on Bruce Lee, so we're going to watch a video to see what is said about it.
The origins of the Lee family curse are said to trace back to Bruce Lee's great-grandfather, Lee Hoi Chuen, a renowned Cantonese opera singer. According to legend, Lee Hoi Chuen angered a powerful sorcerer who placed a curse on him and his descendants. This alleged curse was believed to bring an early death to the male members of the Lee family who achieved great success and fame.
So apparently Chinese sorcerers ain't no joke. Now this video is also talking about another key point that could have played in his passing.
The legend of the Bruce Lee curse. For those of you who don't know who Bruce Lee is, he is an American martial artist and movie star born in San Francisco. As he became more successful, he bought a giant mansion in Hong Kong. This building had spiritual connections within the community, as well as mirrors facing outwards, which is feng shui to repel negative energy. Now, it is said, despite advice, Lee took down the mirrors of this building. In 1973, Bruce Lee passed away tragically under mysterious circumstances involving maybe him being allergic to headache medication, and it was in Hong Kong.
Okay, so basically the curse makes some Final Destination type stuff happen. This is another celebrity. She says her mother was unalived by voodoo and poison.
My mother was by the stepchildren of this family. The way it happened, of course, being a non-speaking child, I would listen to every conversation of the grown-ups under the house or around the house, behind whatever, behind a tree. And I heard that when my mother took ill, that two sisters had corresponded with one another, the one that was still there in the family, and one that had gone up north, maybe Chicago, New York, somewhere. And there was a correspondence between the two of them. The letter that went to Chicago or here up north said that my mother was unfaithful and they wanted to get rid of her, and how can we do it? A letter came back to the south that said, don't worry, when I come home, I will get rid of her in a way that she will never be able to come back. Shortly thereafter, after this one came home, the dinner was being put on the table with my mother and that stepdaughter. And the others were out in the fields. My mother was sent to the well by the stepdaughter to get water, and she came back with the water, and there was these two dinners on the table. And my mother thought, why is it that you are feeding, why are we eating now before the family comes in? And she said, oh, I wanted you to try something. And as a result, she had put this poison in my mother's food. And my mother, when my mother took ill, she said when she became conscious at times, she would start talking, and this is how the story went from one person to the other, that she got ill to her stomach, and she was going to go to the door to regurgitate, but her husband came in at the same time, and she didn't get sick, and she held it, and that's what made her more ill than she would have been if she had regurgitated it. Now, her husband was supposed to go get the doctor immediately, but it has been confirmed with my sister, who's now living in New Jersey, that he was told by his daughters that they had done this. Now, if he had gone to get the doctor, it would have been either him giving up his two children to the law, or he had a choice of letting my mother go.
Let her go.
So he let my mother go. So my mother laid there for some months.
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. So you knew that your daughters, unalived, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever she was to you at that point, and you let them go on and not receive any repercussions for what they did? They gotta go to prison. Prison!
Sometimes she would get so pain, and she would start to tell what was going on, what had gone on. Now, when she died, the neighbors saw a burning in the yard. They had taken the mattress, the children had taken the mattress, put it in the yard and started to burn it. The neighbors saw the fire. They came and started to put it out, and they saw these voodoo things in the mattress, in the center of the mattress, with letters that had come from the sisters, and that's how they found out that it was the truth of what my mother was saying. Now, if this was not so, the superstition is that if a mother with a young baby is taken away against the will of God, that the mother will come back and take the baby. Her spirit will come and take the baby. So when they buried my mother, and I was standing there watching this whole ceremony, they had to pass my young sister across the grave several times to break the line between heaven and earth and the body in the grave, so that my mother's spirit would not be able to grab the child. If my mother had died by natural causes or by the hand of God, that ritual would have never happened.
fascinating insight to a time and a place.
Mama, just know that we feel you because we know that is not right. And I hope that you can find peace and move on to the next stages of your soul.
Has a blood test. Mel wrote in her memoir she was shocked. She called Eddie and said she would never forgive him. She also told him their relationship was over. From then on, she said all of her calls to the actor went unanswered. Days later, he showed up on the red carpet with Tracy Edmonds. Tracy's divorce from Babyface was still pending at the time, but she told reporters she and Eddie had been together for about a month and a half. Mel was ready to fight for her man. Her friend Elizabeth Rodriguez told the Daily Mail Mel turned to alternative methods to win Eddie back. She reportedly accompanied Mel to a Los Angeles hotel to act as a translator to a Spanish voodoo priestess named Tabitha. Elizabeth said Mel performed a ritual where she wrote down all the names of the people involved in the situation, placed the paper along with a pair of Eddie's boxers and a pair of her underwear in a jar, and buried it. By the time Mel gave birth to their daughter Angel on April 3, 2007, which was Eddie's 46th birthday, Eddie and Tracy were already engaged. Tracy sported an 8-carat diamond engagement ring from, you guessed it,
The accusations of voodoo circulating within celebrities is wild.
The biggest conspiracy theory about Jennifer Lopez is...
I have a bigger conspiracy about JLo. JLo practices Santeria. And that's how she got famous. I knew JLo's godmother back in Florida. In Florida, Santeria and Catholicism are like interconnected. Now, there are rumors from JLo's makeup artist that she hexed some people. Yeah, she has partaken in animal sacrifice. JLo also believes she was plagued by demons, so she burned her wedding dress. Here's the most damning part. Bear with me, it's really hard to find this transcript anywhere else. So this is JLo's first husband on this show. My black magic godmother, who is now Jennifer's spiritual leader, she participated in the sacrifices of chickens and hens, cleansing Jennifer with the blood. It was poured over her, and she was bathed and washed away with herbs.
Okay. It seemed like everybody just doing a little bit of behind the scenes work.
My grandmother was a wicked witch, and every single thing that she had done in this life caught up to her up until her last very breath.
This is why I inform people do not dabble in witchcraft or black magic, because it's one of the ways and the most common way of creating a generational curse. You are making deals with demonic entities and deities in order to obtain and manifest the life you want and obtain abilities that you do not have. Granted, there is a such thing called as natural abilities, and that's within your lineage itself. That comes from the 12 tribes, or the 13 tribes to be exact. But you're not taking into account that when these actual deals are being made, they are not just making deals with just you. They are making deals with your bloodline. Meaning that the deal or the contract is still good until your bloodline is completely gone. So when these people make this actual deal and they're upholding the deal, when they pass on, it does not go away. It simply rolls over into the next person in the bloodline. And if that person has no idea of the actual deal or a deal being made with these actual demonic or deities, what happens is it creates generational curses where these demons or these deities will place curses on the actual bloodline or the family itself. So it could be all the way to premature death, to depression, to ancestral demons. And that's how ancestral demons actually come about, because somebody in your bloodline actually made a deal with these demonic presence, and the deal was not fulfilled because the deal actually includes the blood lineage. And this is why it's very imperative, no matter if you know the situation or not, to break your family's generational curse. Because you don't know what somebody in your blood lineage made or did before you was here. And they're not here to tell you. So before it gets any worse, you want to stop it there so it will not continue on. But y'all stay safe.
I hadn't heard enough to know that these celebrities are getting mixed in with this voodoo stuff as well. So y'all stay safe out there. Move smart. Love y'all and enjoy life.